Captain Tejo walked through the quiet halls of his ship. The Harmony's Edge had been traveling through deep space for 3 months now. His crew was getting restless. They had found nothing but empty star systems and dead rocks floating in the dark. "Captain, you need to come to the bridge right now." Mirei's voice came through his communicator. She sounded excited and worried at the same time. Mirei was his best communications officer. She never got excited about nothing. Tejo hurried to the bridge. Mirei was sitting at her station with headphones on. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. Strange sounds filled the air around her workstation. "What is it?" Tejo asked. "It's a signal, Captain, but not like anything we've ever heard before." Mirei pulled off her headphones and looked at him with wide eyes. "It's coming from the Kepler 442 system, about 12 light years from here." Tejo moved closer to listen. The sounds were musical but sad, like whale songs but more complex. There were patterns in the noise that his brain could almost understand. "How long has this been broadcasting?" he asked. "The signal started 3 days ago. But Captain, there's something else." Mirei's voice dropped to a whisper. "The computer thinks it's a distress call, and it's encrypted with quantum technology we don't have." Do Hyun, the ship's engineer, looked up from his station. "Quantum encryption? That's impossible. We're the most advanced species we know about." Tejo felt a chill run down his spine. For 20 years, humans had been searching for other intelligent life. They had found nothing. No signals, no cities, no ships, just empty space and silent worlds. "Are you sure it's artificial?" Tejo asked. Mirei nodded. "The patterns are too perfect, too organized. This was made by someone smart, someone who understands mathematics and science." The bridge fell silent except for the strange alien song playing from the speakers. Every person on the bridge understood what this meant. They were not alone in the universe. "Can you decode it?" Tejo asked. "I'm trying. The computer is working on it now. But Captain, whoever sent this knows about quantum physics better than we do." Hours passed. The crew worked without stopping. Do-hyun rerouted power to the communication systems. Mirei ran the signal through every decoder program they had. Slowly, piece by piece, words began to form. The first clear word was help. Then came dying. Then water children. The full message took 6 more hours to decode. When it was finished, Mirei played it for the entire crew. The bridge was packed with people. Everyone wanted to hear the first message from alien intelligence. A soft voice spoke in broken but understandable English. The words were careful and slow, like someone learning a new language. "To any who hear this, we are the Veltari of the Waterworld Kepler 442b. We are dying. The Kethmore Empire has come to our world. They take our people for slaves. They burn our cities. They poison our oceans." The voice paused. In the background, they could hear what sounded like explosions and screaming. "We have heard stories of the Deathworlders, warriors from impossible planets who can survive anything. If you exist, if you can hear this, please help us. We are a peaceful people. We have never hurt anyone. But the Kethmore show no mercy. They will kill us all unless someone stops them." The message repeated several times, then cut to static. The bridge was completely silent. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. "Deathworlders?" Do-hyun finally asked. "What does that mean?" "I think," Tejo said slowly, "they mean us." Dr. So-young, the ship's scientist, stepped forward. "Captain, if this message is real, we're looking at first contact with not one but 2 alien species. One peaceful, one hostile. And the hostile ones are committing genocide right now," Mirei added. Tejo looked around at his crew. These were good people, scientists and explorers who had volunteered to spend years in deep space looking for other life. They had found it, but it was crying for help. "Do-hyun, how fast can we get to Kepler 442? Tejo asked. "If we push the engines hard, maybe 2 weeks. But Captain, we're just one ship. We have no weapons except emergency blasters." "We're not going there to fight," Tejo said. "We're going to see what's happening, and to send a message to Earth." Mirei understood immediately. You want to boost our communicator to contact the home fleet. Exactly. If there really is a war happening, Earth needs to know. The defense fleet needs to know. Do-hyun looked worried. Captain, if we boost the communicator that much, every ship in 50 light years will be able to detect us. We'll be announcing our presence to the entire galaxy. Taeho walked to the main view screen. Stars filled the darkness ahead of them. Somewhere out there, people were dying. People who had asked for help from Deathworlders, without even knowing if such beings existed. Maybe it's time the galaxy knew about us, he said. Set course for Kepler 442, maximum speed. Yes, sir, the navigator responded. Mirai, prepare a quantum burst transmission to Earth. Full details about the alien signal and our first contact protocols. Already working on it, Captain. As the Harmony's edge turned toward the distant star system, Taeho thought about the word Deathworlders. Earth was a harsh planet compared to most worlds they had surveyed. High gravity, violent weather, dangerous animals. Maybe to aliens from gentler worlds, humans really would seem like warriors from an impossible place. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, the quantum transmission raced toward Earth at speeds even their ship couldn't match. In a few days, Admiral Kyung-soo at Luna Base would receive humanity's first report of alien contact and humanity's first report of alien war. In his quarters that night, Taeho couldn't sleep. He kept hearing the alien voice saying, Deathworlders, with something that sounded like hope, as if beings from a death world might be exactly what the galaxy needed. He had a feeling they were about to find out. Admiral Kyung-soo was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency alarm sounded throughout Luna Base. He had been expecting this day for 20 years, but it still made his hands shake as he set down his cup. Sir, we have a priority alpha message from the Harmony's edge, Lieutenant Haewon said as she ran into his office. Captain Taeho reports first contact with alien intelligence. How many species? Kyung-soo asked, already reaching for his uniform jacket. 2, sir. 1 peaceful, 1 hostile. The hostile species is currently attacking the peaceful one. Within minutes, the emergency council was assembled in the war room deep under Luna Base. The most important people in human space sat around a metal table while Captain Taeho's message played from the speakers. Dr. Yoon-ji, head of xenobiology, listened to the alien voice with tears in her eyes. They're dying, she whispered. We finally find other intelligent life and they're being murdered. What do we know about their biology? Asked Strategic Commander Jinwoo. The translation mentions water children and water world, Dr. Yoon-ji replied. I think they're aquatic, probably evolved in oceans like Earth's, but maybe with less land. And the attackers, Jinwoo continued, the Kethmore Empire. That suggests a military organization that controls multiple star systems. This isn't just raiders. This is organized conquest. Admiral Kyung-soo studied the star charts on the main screen. Kepler 4A42 is 12 light years away. If we send ships now, it will take 3 weeks to get there. Sir, interrupted Captain Soo-jin, commander of the dreadnought Iron Thunder. Permission to speak freely? Go ahead, Captain. Soo-jin stood up. She was a small woman, but she had fought in the Mars Rebellion and earned her rank through blood and fire. Admiral, this is not just about saving one alien species. This is about who we are as humans. Our first action in galactic affairs will define us forever. Explain, Kyung-soo said. If we hide and do nothing, we become the cowards who let genocide happen. If we intervene, we become the protectors. The choice we make today will shape human history for 1,000 years. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the weight of Soo-jin's words. Dr. Yoon-ji spoke up. There's something else. They called us Deathworlders. I've been thinking about what that means. And? Jinwoo asked. Most planets that could support life would be much gentler than Earth. Lower gravity, stable weather, fewer predators. Earth is a harsh world that created harsh people. To aliens from peaceful planets, we would seem like monsters. Monsters, Jinwoo repeated thoughtfully. Warriors, Soo-jin corrected. We're not monsters. We're what the galaxy created when it made humans survive on a world that tried to kill us every day. Meanwhile, in the intelligence section, tech specialist Heywan was analyzing intercepted signals from the Kepler 442 system. What she found made her call Admiral Kyung-soo immediately. "Sir, we're picking up more alien transmissions. I think they're from the Kethmore Empire." "What do they say?" "The computer is still translating, but the basic message is clear. They're bragging about their conquest. They think the Veltari's call for help is just desperation. They don't believe Deathworlders exist." Kyung-soo felt a cold smile cross his face. "Show me the fleet readiness report." Jin-woo pulled up the data. "We have 15 ships ready for immediate deployment. 3 dreadnoughts, 6 cruisers, 4 destroyers, and 2 carriers. About 8,000 personnel total." "What about the new quantum drives?" "Still experimental, but they should cut travel time from 3 weeks to 2 weeks, maybe less." Kyung-soo looked around the room at the faces of Earth's military leadership. These people had spent their careers preparing for theoretical alien contact. Now it was real, and it involved war. "Dr. Yunji, what's your assessment of the Veltari's survival chances without intervention?" "Based on the distress call, maybe days, weeks at most. The Kethmore are conducting systematic extermination, and if we intervene, unknown. We don't know anything about their military capabilities. We could be flying into a trap." Captain Soo-jin leaned forward. "Admiral, with respect to Dr. Yunji, we don't fly into traps. We set them." "Explain." "Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We've perfected warfare. If these Kethmore have only fought peaceful species, they have no idea what's coming." Jin-woo nodded. "The captain has a point. Our weapons are designed to fight other humans, humans who know how to fight back. If the galaxy is full of peaceful species, our military doctrine will be completely alien to them." Kyung-soo made his decision. "We deploy the fleet full strength, but this is not a rescue mission, this is first contact. We go in ready for anything." "Yes, sir," Soo-jin said with a fierce smile. Over the next 6 hours, Luna Base became a storm of activity. Ships that had been in dock for maintenance were rushed back to readiness. Crews that had been on leave were recalled immediately. Weapons that had never been tested in space combat were loaded and checked. The Iron Thunder led the fleet, followed by her sister ships, Earth's Vengeance and Defiant Dawn. The carriers Nest of Eagles and Flying Fortress launched their fighter squadrons. For pre-flight checks, smaller ships formed protective screens around the larger vessels. Captain Soo-jin stood on her bridge and watched Earth grow smaller behind them. Somewhere ahead, aliens were dying while other aliens committed murder. In 2 weeks, they would find out what humans could do about it. "Captain," her communications officer said, "Admiral Kyung-soo is requesting final fleet status. Tell the Admiral that the United Defense Fleet is ready for humanity's first war," Soo-jin replied. As the fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed, Haiwan intercepted one more transmission from the Kepler 442 system. A Kethmore commander was laughing about the Veltari's desperate messages to imaginary Deathworld demons. "Sir," she reported to Admiral Kyung-soo, "the enemy doesn't think we exist." "Good," the Admiral replied. "Surprise is our greatest weapon." The fleet disappeared into the dark between stars, carrying humanity's warriors toward their first alien, war. Behind them, Earth continued its ancient rotation, unaware that its children were about to announce themselves to the galaxy through fire and blood. In 2 weeks, the Kethmore Empire would learn that Deathworlders were very real, and very, very angry. The Harmony's Edge had been hiding in the asteroid belt around Kepler 442 for 3 days when the human fleet arrived. Captain Taeho watched through his telescope as alien ships burned cities on the planet below. The sight made him sick. "Captain," his tactical officer Dong-woo reported, "I count 17 Kethmore vessels in orbit. Their flagship is massive, at least twice the size of our largest ships." "What about the planet?" Taeho asked. "Sensors show widespread destruction. The oceans are on fire in some places. The aliens are using some kind of plasma weapons to burn everything." Through his communicator, Taeho heard Admiral Kyung-soo's voice from the approaching fleet. "Captain, report on enemy positions." "Admiral, the Kethmore have formed a standard orbital bombardment pattern. They're taking their time. This isn't a battle for them. It's entertainment. Understood. How long until the Veltari are completely wiped out? At their current rate of destruction, maybe 2 days. Then we end this now. Fleet, prepare for combat. Decloak all ships to battle stations. Tejo had never seen anything like what happened next. One moment, the space around the Kethmore fleet was empty. The next moment, 15 human warships materialized as if from nothing. Their stealth technology made them completely invisible until they chose to reveal themselves. The alien ships were caught completely off guard. They had been focused on the helpless planet below, never expecting an attack from space. Admiral Kyung-Soo's voice echoed across all frequencies. Kethmore vessels, this is Admiral Kyung-Soo of the Human Defense. Fleet, you will cease your attack on the Veltari immediately and withdraw from this system. The response came from the Kethmore flagship. The alien voice was harsh and full of anger. Humans, we have never heard of your species. You will leave now or share the fate of these water creatures. I tried diplomacy, Kyung-Soo said calmly. All ships, weapons free. Show them what Deathworlders can do. What followed was not a battle. It was a demonstration of human warfare against beings who had never faced real opposition. The Iron Thunder fired first. Her main guns lit up the darkness with beams of pure energy. The closest Kethmore ship simply vanished in a flash of light. The aliens had been building their ships to intimidate peaceful species, not to fight other warships. Captain Soo-jin's voice came over the fleet communication channel. All ships, remember your training. These are not humans. They don't know how we fight. Use that against them. The human ships moved like wolves attacking sheep. They appeared from unexpected angles, fired devastating volleys, then disappeared behind asteroids before the aliens could respond. The Kethmore vessels were larger and more impressive looking, but they were slow and clumsy. Captain, Dongwu reported excitedly, the human ships are using micro-jumps. They're teleporting around the battlefield. Tejo watched in amazement. Human ships would vanish for a split second, then reappear behind enemy vessels. The Kethmore had no defense against this tactic. Commander Vextar, the Kethmore fleet leader, tried to rally his ships. All vessels form defensive circle. Concentrate fire on the largest human ship. But human ships didn't fight in straight lines like the aliens expected. They swarmed like angry insects, each ship supporting the others while maintaining constant movement. When the Kethmore tried to focus on one target, 3 others would attack from different directions. The alien flagship finally managed to hit one of the human cruisers. The ship Earth's Pride took damage to her port side, but she didn't stop fighting. Instead, she used her damaged sections as weapons, ramming burning debris into a nearby Kethmore destroyer. "These beings are insane!" Vextar screamed to his remaining ships. "They use their own damage as weapons!" Captain Soo-jin heard the transmission and laughed. "You haven't seen anything yet, alien." The Iron Thunder accelerated directly toward the Kethmore flagship. The aliens thought she was going to ram them and tried to move away. Instead, Soo-jin used the flagship's own mass to gravity sling around it, bringing her ship's guns to bear at point-blank range. "For the Veltari," she said, and fired everything she had. The Kethmore flagship broke apart like a toy. Explosions raced along its hull as its own weapons overloaded. Vextar's final transmission was a warning to his empire. "The Deathworlders are real. They fight like demons. Warn the home." The signal cut off as his ship exploded. The remaining Kethmore vessels tried to retreat, but human ships were faster and more maneuverable. One by one, they were hunted down and destroyed. The aliens who had been casually committing genocide found themselves being killed with the same casual efficiency. The last alien ship tried to surrender. Admiral Kyung-Soo accepted their surrender, but his terms were simple. "You will return to your empire and tell them what happened here. Tell them that the Deathworlders are real, and we protect the innocent." As the surviving Kethmore ship limped away, the human fleet turned its attention to the planet below. The Veltari cities were still burning, but life signs showed that millions of the aquatic aliens had survived by hiding in deep ocean trenches. "Captain Tejo," Admiral Kyung-Soo called. "You're our first contact specialist. Open communications. with the Veltari. Tejo had Mirai send the same mathematical sequences the Veltari had used in their distress call. Within minutes, they received a response. The voice was weak but filled with hope. "Are you the Deathworlders? Are you real?" "We are real," Tejo replied. "We are humans from the planet Earth. We heard your call for help. You came. You actually came. We thought we were going to die alone." "You're not alone anymore," Admiral Kyung-soo said. "The Kethmore are gone. Your world is safe." As the human fleet established orbit around the Veltari homeworld, news of the battle began spreading across the galaxy. The Kethmore Empire's communication networks carried reports of their fleet's destruction by unknown aliens. Other species that had suffered under Kethmore rule began to whisper about the Deathworlders, who had appeared from nowhere to save the peaceful Veltari. For the first time in generations, oppressed planets began to hope. But in the capital ships of the Kethmore Empire, war councils were forming. These humans had destroyed a full fleet and embarrassed the Empire in front of the entire galaxy. There could be only one response. Admiral Kyung-soo knew this as he watched Veltari rescue ships rising from their damaged planet. "This isn't over," he told his staff. "We just announced ourselves to a hostile galaxy. They'll be coming for us with everything they have." Captain Soo-jin smiled grimly. "Good. Let them come. We're humans. War is what we do best." The first battle was over. But the war for the galaxy's future was just beginning. 3 days after the battle, the first Veltari delegation came aboard the Harmony's Edge. Captain Tejo had never seen anything so beautiful and strange. Elder Thalis moved through the ship's corridors in a specialized water suit that let her breathe while visiting the human vessel. She was about 3 meters long with silver skin and large dark eyes that seemed to glow with intelligence. Her movements were graceful, like a dolphin swimming through air. "Your gravity is so strong," she said through the translation device Mirai had built. "How do you move in such crushing weight?" "This is normal for us," Tejo replied. "Our world has heavy gravity. We grew up in it." Dr. Yoonji worked alongside Veltari scientist Silara to improve their translation systems. As they shared information about their respective worlds, both species began to understand just how different they were. "Your planet sounds impossible," Silara said, her musical voice filled with wonder and horror. "Earthquakes that split the ground, storms that can destroy cities, animals that hunt and kill each other for food. That's just nature on Earth," Dr. Yoonji explained. "We learned to survive by being stronger, faster, and smarter than the things trying to kill us." "And you all carry weapons? Even your scientists and explorers?" "Well, yes. You never know what you might encounter." The Veltari delegation was silent for a long moment. Finally, Elder Thalis spoke. "No wonder you fight so well. Your entire species was forged in battle." As the cultural exchange continued, the humans learned about the galaxy they had entered. Most intelligent species had evolved on gentle worlds, with light gravity, stable climates, and abundant resources. Conflict was rare because there was always enough for everyone. "The Kethmore are unusual," Elder Thalis explained. "They come from a world with limited resources, so they learned to take what they wanted from others. But even they have never faced species like you." "What do you mean?" Admiral Kyung-soo asked during one of the meetings. "Most galactic species avoid conflict. When the Kethmore arrive, we surrender or hide. Fighting back never occurred to us, because we're not built for it." Strategic Commander Jinwoo leaned forward. "You're saying the entire galaxy is made up of peaceful species and one aggressive empire?" "Yes. The Kethmore rule 30 systems not because they're the strongest, but because everyone else is weak. How many species live under their control? Hundreds, maybe thousands, some we've never even met." That night, Admiral Kyung-soo called an emergency meeting of his senior staff. The scale of what they had discovered was staggering. "If Elder Thalis is correct," Jinwoo reported, "we're looking at a galactic empire that rules through fear and intimidation. They've never faced real military opposition." "What about their technology?" asked Captain Soo-jin. advanced in some areas, primitive in others. Their ships are designed to look impressive and scare peaceful species into surrender. They're not built for actual combat. Dr. Yunji had been studying Kethmore weapon fragments from the battle. Their military doctrine is based on overwhelming, weak opponents. They use fear as their primary weapon. Fear doesn't work on humans, Sujin said flatly. No, but there's something else, Dr. Yunji continued. I've been analyzing their communications. They call their expansion harvesting. They're not conquering species, they're collecting them. For what? Slave labor. Resources. Some of their transmissions suggest they view other species as livestock. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just war, it was industrial-scale slavery and genocide. Admiral, Captain Tejo said quietly, we can't just save one species and leave. This is bigger than we thought. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, news of the Kethmore defeat was spreading faster than the Empire could contain it. On dozens of worlds, oppressed species were hearing the story of the Deathworlders who had destroyed an entire Kethmore fleet. In the Androan system, a group of crystal-based life forms called the Gel stopped their forced mining operations and asked each other if the rumors could be true. On Velnora Prime, insectoid species that had been harvested for their silk began to whisper about beings who could fight the Empire and win. But in the throne room of Kethmore Central Command, Supreme Admiral Krexnor was planning his response. The surviving ship from the Veltari battle had brought disturbing reports about these humans. They fight without honor, Commander Zalthek reported to the War Council. They use trickery and deception. They attack from ambush and show no mercy. How many ships did they have? Krexnor demanded. 15. Against our 17 vessels, they should have been destroyed. Instead, they killed us all. Impossible. Our ships are the most powerful in the galaxy. Supreme Admiral, with respect, our ships are designed to intimidate farmers and scientists. These humans are warriors. Real warriors. Krexnor slammed his fist on the council table. Then we will show them what real power looks like. Assemble the 7th Fleet. 60 ships. We will burn their homeworld and end this threat. Sir, we don't know where their homeworld is. Then we start with the Veltari system. The humans will come to defend their new pets, and we will be waiting. Back. In the Kepler 442 system, Admiral Kyung-soo was making the hardest decision of his career. Earth had sent him to investigate alien contact, not to start a galactic war. But the more he learned about the Kethmore Empire, the more he realized that war was inevitable. The question, he told his staff, is whether we fight on our terms or theirs. Explain, Captain Sujin said. If we run back to Earth and hide, they'll eventually find us. They'll come with overwhelming force and attack when we're not ready. But if we stay here and make our stand, we choose the battlefield. And we protect the Veltari, Dr. Yunji added. More than that, Jinwoo said, studying the galactic maps they had received from their new allies. If we stay and fight, other, oppressed species will know where to find us. We become a rallying point for resistance. Elder Thalis attended their final planning meeting through video link from her ship. Humans, she said formally, my people owe you a debt that can never be repaid. But you should know what you're choosing. The Kethmore will come with many ships, more than you have ever seen. How many? Admiral Kyung-soo asked. Their response fleets usually have 50 to 60 vessels. They believe in crushing resistance completely. Captain Sujin grinned. 60 ships? That's a target-rich environment. You're not afraid? Elder Thalis asked in wonder. Elder Thalis, Admiral Kyung-soo replied. We're humans from a death world. We don't know how to be afraid of bullies. As the human fleet prepared for the coming battle, messages began arriving from across the galaxy. Species that had lived under Kethmore rule for generations were asking the same question. Were the Deathworlders real? Could someone finally stand up to the Empire? The answer would come soon enough. The Kethmore response fleet arrived like a storm of metal and fury. 60 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler 442 system, their hulls bristling with weapons designed to terrify entire worlds into submission. Supreme. Admiral Krexnor stood on the bridge of his flagship Eternal Dominion and smiled with satisfaction. The human ships looked tiny compared to his massive fleet. 15 vessels against 60. It would be a massacre. Unknown vessels, he broadcast on all frequencies. I am Supreme Admiral Krexnor of the Kethmor Empire. You have interfered with Imperial business and destroyed Imperial property. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Admiral Kyung-Soo's response came back immediately. This is Admiral Kyung-Soo of the Human Defense Fleet. You are in violation of Veltari territorial space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Krexnor laughed. The sound echoed through his ship's communication system. Humans, you are brave but foolish. Your 15 ships cannot stand against the might of the Empire. You're right, Kyung-Soo replied calmly. 15 ships can't defeat 60 ships in a straight fight. Lucky for us, humans don't fight straight. What happened next became legend across the galaxy. The human fleet split into 3 groups and scattered in different directions. Instead of forming a battle line like every other species in galactic history, they disappeared into the asteroid belt, the gas giant's rings, and the debris field from their previous battle. Where are they going? Krexnor demanded. Cowards, stand and fight. But humans had learned warfare on a planet that tried to kill them every day. They knew that the strong didn't always win. The smart did. Captain Su-Jin led the first group, directly into the asteroid field. Her 3 ships used the floating rocks as cover and ambush points. When Kethmor vessels came after them, they found themselves fighting ships that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. They're using the asteroids as shields, the Kethmor tactical officer reported. We can't get a clear shot. Then blast through the asteroids, Krexnor ordered. But when they tried, the humans used the exploding rocks as weapons. Debris became missiles. Metal fragments became shrapnel. The asteroid field became a deadly maze where human ships danced between destruction, while alien vessels blundered into traps. Commander Jin Woo took the second group to the gas giant. The massive planet's gravity well and radiation made sensors useless. Kethmor ships that followed them found themselves fighting blind while human vessels used micro-jumps to appear and disappear like demons in the storm. Engineer Do Hyun had modified the human ship's drives to work inside the planet's magnetic field. The Kethmor technology couldn't handle the interference. Their ships became sitting targets while human vessels struck from impossible angles. Meanwhile, Admiral Kyung-Soo led the remaining ships in a direct assault on the Kethmor center. But this wasn't the heroic charge the aliens expected. It was psychological warfare. All ships activate jamming systems, Kyung-Soo ordered. Let's show them what fear really looks like. Human ships appeared on Kethmor sensors as dozens of false targets. Missiles that didn't exist seemed to fill space around the alien fleet. Communication systems played recordings of human war cries and battle songs. The aliens found themselves jumping at shadows while real human ships struck from directions they never expected. They're everywhere, a Kethmor captain screamed over the communication channels. How are there so many of them? There are still only 15 ships, Krexnor snarled. Use your eyes, not your sensors. But human psychological warfare was designed to break enemies who had never faced it before. The Kethmor fleet began making mistakes. Ships fired at their own allies. Formations broke apart as captains tried to chase ghosts. Tech specialist Hae-Won, working from the Iron Thunder, managed to break into the Kethmor communication network. Suddenly, the battle was being broadcast live across the entire empire. On dozens of worlds, oppressed species watched, their invincible masters being outfought and outsmarted by beings they had never heard of. The myth of Kethmor superiority cracked like breaking glass. All Kethmor vessels, Admiral Kyung-Soo broadcast on their own frequency, you came here to commit genocide. Now you're going to learn what happens when you threaten the innocent. The final phase of the battle began when Captain Su-Jin's group emerged from the asteroid field behind the main Kethmor formation. The aliens had been focused on the attacks from the front and sides. They never expected an assault from behind. Surprise, Su-Jin said, and opened fire with everything she had. The Kethmor fleet found itself surrounded. Human ships attacked from above, below, and all sides at once. Their formation, designed to intimidate enemies into surrender, became a trap that held them in one place while human vessels moved freely around them. Supreme Admiral Krexnor realized too late that he was fighting an enemy unlike anything in galactic history. These humans didn't fight to conquer or intimidate, they fought to win, using every advantage their harsh world had taught them. How? He whispered as his flagship came under attack from 3 directions at once. How are they doing this? His tactical officer, bleeding from a head wound, looked up from his damaged console. Supreme Admiral, they're not fighting like a galactic species, they're fighting like predators. Impossible. Intelligent species don't. The Iron Thunder appeared directly in front of the Eternal Dominion. Captain Sujin's voice came over the communication system, calm and deadly. You wanted to see Deathworlders, Admiral. Here we are. The human ship fired point blank into the Kethmore flagship. Explosions raced along the alien vessel's hull as its own weapons overloaded. Krexnor's final transmission was a warning that would echo across the Empire. The Deathworlders are real. They are everything we feared. Warn the home fleets. Warn everyone. The galaxy has predators and they protect the weak. The battle ended with the destruction of 57 Kethmore vessels. Only 3 ships escaped to carry word of the defeat back to the Empire. The human defense fleet had lost no ships, though several had taken damage. In the aftermath, as human crews worked to repair their vessels, the galaxy began to change. The broadcast of the battle had been seen by billions of oppressed beings across hundreds of worlds. On the crystal world of Gel, the miners stopped working and looked up at the sky with new hope. On Velnora Prime, the insectoid silk farmers began planning their first rebellion in 1,000 years. Across the Empire, species that had been slaves for generations began to remember what freedom felt like. Elder Thales came aboard the Harmonies, edge for the victory celebration. She moved slowly through the ship's corridors, still amazed by the heavy gravity that humans considered normal. How do we thank you? She asked Captain Tejo. You saved our entire species. You already thanked us, Tejo replied. You called for help and we answered. That's what people do for each other. But you're Deathworlders, warriors from an impossible planet. Why do you care about peaceful species like us? Captain Tejo thought about Earth, with its crushing gravity and violent storms and dangerous animals. He thought about humans learning to survive by helping each other, protecting the weak, and standing together against threats. Maybe that's exactly why we care, he said. Our world made us strong. But strength without purpose is just violence. We choose to use our strength to protect those who can't protect themselves. Admiral Kyung-Soo sent his final report to Earth that night. It was short and simple. First contact mission complete. Galactic tyranny under review for immediate termination. The Veltari are safe, but this is just the beginning. The galaxy is full of oppressed species, and they all need to know that someone is willing to fight for them. Request immediate reinforcement. The Deathworlders have work to do. As the human fleet prepared for the long war ahead, messages arrived from across the galaxy. Species that had never heard of Earth were asking the same question. Could the Deathworlders help them too? The answer, as it had been from the moment Mireille first heard that desperate alien distress call, was simple. Yes. Humanity had entered the galaxy as explorers seeking knowledge. They would stay as guardians protecting the innocent. The Kethmore Empire had ruled through fear for 1,000 years. Now they would learn to fear in return.